Games new to me. Please like and subscribe.
Hey guys, Rob here for Games New to Me, and Payback just ended, WWE Payback, and me being a wrestling fan, and no, this is not scripted, this is just me shooting from the hip. Let's talk about WWE Payback. I can't talk. Did you know that? Yeah. Anyway, let's try that again. Let's talk about WWE 2017 Payback Pay-Per-View, or Network Special, if you will. Let's see. I didn't see the kickoff match with Enzo and Big Cass versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I didn't see a special payback kickoff edition of Miz TV. So let's go on to what I actually saw. The first match that I saw was Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. This was a fun match, a good match. Not a lot I can say about it. It was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I will say that I was surprised that Chris Jericho won the United States Heavyweight Championship, given all the rumors that he's leaving to go on tour with Fozzy. But I guess this is a way to get him off Raw and onto SmackDown. So, it was a fun match with an unexpected ending. Let's see, what was next? Next we had the Hardys versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Once again, it was an okay match. It was good. It was fine. It was fun. Some nostalgia. The little bit of new stuff that we want to see from Matt Hardy with the delete and the broken Matt Hardy, which I'm hearing that WWE kind of have the rights to now. And I guess they're just sitting on it for the right time for the nostalgia to wear off before they release the full-on gimmick broken Matt Hardy, which I think is smart. I think that's a good idea. In the match, the Hardys retain the championships, and they shake hands with Cesaro and Sheamus. Cesaro and Sheamus leave the ring, and as the Hardys celebrate, they run back in and attack them from behind, signaling what I can only assume to be a heel turn. One thing of note in this match is, and I didn't see when it happened, I just know that it did happen, is Jeff Hardy had a tooth knocked out. For real. Legitimately, he lost a tooth during the match. He even kind of showed it on camera. You could kind of see it. So that was... I'll have to rewatch that just to see when he lost his tooth. I thought that was... It was a good match. It was an interesting ending as far as the heel turn. Then we had the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match. I might be going out of order, so if I am, forgive me. And we had Austin Aries versus Neville, which, in my opinion, was the match of the night, without a doubt. Just great stuff from these two guys. I love watching Austin Aries. I love watching Neville. The Cruiserweights are where it's at. Austin Aries and Neville went out there to steal the show, and I think they did. No, it wasn't a spectacle, but it was really, really, really good. Some excellent, those deep arm drags that Austin Aries does, that just reminds me of Ricky Steamboat so much. And Neville is just magnificent as a heel. He is literally frightening. His previous gimmick as a baby face, I don't know. It was going nowhere fast. So him moving to the Cruiserweight division and just going full on monster heel is awesome. He looks bigger and more imposing physique-wise than any of the other Cruiserweights. He is an incredible talent in the ring. Oh my God, don't even get me started. And Austin Aries is a perfect foil for him. Thing about Aries, he kind of came in with a built-in fan base coming from TNA. So both guys are super over, especially if you consider it's the Cruiserweights and not everybody watches 205 Live. In fact, I think 205 Live is probably a bit of a niche program that only the hardcore fans watch. I watch it. I really enjoy it. I think it's a great show. I kind of wish it was treated more like NXT, but it's not. So what are you gonna do? Anyway, Neville gets himself disqualified as Austin Aries has him. Oh, I forgot the name of the move now. I can't believe I forgot the last chancery. That's it. He has him in the last chancery, and Neville reaches for the referee, grabs the referee, kind of like throws the referee over them, which forces a disqualification, and Neville retains but loses the match, which is good considering there isn't really a believable number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship. So, yeah, I think this was a good way to protect both Neville and Austin Aries. And I also think this gives us more matches from these two as their rivalry continues, as it should be. Because, right, Jack Gallagher, as much as I like the guy, I think he's just fun as hell in the ring. I don't believe, looking at him and comparing him to Neville, I just do not believe that he is any kind of threat to Neville. Storyline-wise, I'm sure he could be, but just looking at him and looking how imposing Neville is, no. Austin Aries and Neville need to continue their feud over the Cruiserweight Championship. Let's see, what was next? We had, I think next was the Raw Women's Championship. This was another really good match, probably the second best. Once again, I cannot talk tonight. But anyway, this was probably the second best match of the night, with Bayley defending her Raw Women's Championship against the newly arrived Alexa Bliss. She just came over from SmackDown in the Superstar. Yeah, that's it. In the Superstar shakeup. This was a really good match. Really enjoyed the heck out of it. Alexa Bliss ends up advertently or inadvertently throwing Bayley into the ring post, which kind of dazes her. Bayley tries to roll her up into a small package. Alexa Bliss kicks out of that, turns it into a DDT on an already stunned Bayley, and gets the pin, and she is the new Women's Raw Champion. Really fun match. I'm looking forward to the rematch, or rematches, as I'm sure there'll be plenty. Let's see, what did we have after that? And if I leave anything out, please let me know. I'm just kind of going from memory here. I think we had the start of the House of Horrors match. Oh my god. Bray Wyatt versus the champion Randy Orton in what can only be described as the most ridiculous gimmick match. It was the House of Horrors match. It starts out in a quote-unquote creepy house, only there's nothing creepy about it. It's lit up day glow colors. Apparently Bray Wyatt not only has the powers of changing images on a ring a la WrestleMania, but he also has the power to change the color of the house lights by using a clapper, maybe? I have no idea. There was nothing spooky about this. This was definitely not live, in spite of what WWE showed on the screen. There was, I think, talk from Dave Meltzer that the house part of the match, the horror house part of the match, was recorded earlier this weekend. And if you're gonna say that it's live, don't have accompanying spooky quote-unquote background music and sound effects. That just screams of, no, you're watching a video, not a live fight. You can't choreograph music and sound effects to a live quote-unquote wrestling match, live fight. I mean, I guess you could, but it would come off clunky if somebody missed a cue. But whatever. It was just awful. and I hated every bit of it. But Bray Wyatt got the best of Randy Orton in that part of the match. He got into the limousine and told the driver to drive him to the arena. And that's where we cut off and we return. And I believe we have, who do we have? We have Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe over the honor of Stephanie McMahon and the redemption of Triple H, because I guess they're Samoa Joe's clients. And this was a really good match, good psychology. They were still working the knee angle, and Samoa Joe just looked like a killer in there. But in the end, Rollins ekes out a victory, basically like a 1 in a million type thing, and he didn't, it was a clean pin, but he didn't actually finish Joe. He kind of just Joe had his shoulder down for half a second too long, and the referee counted 3. It was that kind of thing. Joe had Seth Rollins in the coquina clutch, although not fully, because he didn't draw him out and they weren't lying on the ground. He kind of like picked them up on his shoulders and did a fireman's carry slam type thing and landed on top of him. Joe didn't release the hold. Referee started counting 1, 2, 3. Joe doesn't lift his shoulder up in time, and Seth Rollins wins in what was a really smart match. It was a good match. Both guys are kept looking strong. Samoa Joe looks like just a beast in there, and I think that's great. Let's see. What else happened? I'm kind of looking at the card. Let me see. Cruiserweights, Raw Tag Team Championship, we talked about that. Raw Women's Championship, we talked about that. Yes. House of Horrors. Alright, we talked about that. So I guess I feel like we're forgetting something, but I can't remember what. Anyway, so the House of Horrors match, the in-house part, the pre-recorded stuff was terrible, but let's move on to something else that is kind of funny, terrible in its own right, and that's Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. And I'm missing something. I forget what I'm missing. That's how forgettable whatever it was. Anyway, let's go back to the House of Horrors match for a second. Whatever match was in between Bray traveling to the arena and then the end of the match, I forget what it was, so it obviously wasn't that memorable. If somebody would like to remind me in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Anyway, Bray Wyatt arrives. He's in the ring. He thinks that after dropping a refrigerator on Randy Orton, that Randy won't make it back from the House of Horrors part of the match in time, thus forfeiting the title. Although not the title, because originally this match was for the title, and then suddenly it just quietly stopped being for the title, which was very annoying and irritating. Anyway, Bray is waiting in the ring, and the lights are down. You got everybody holding up their cell phones, the fireflies, all that good stuff so far. This part isn't terrible. Suddenly, lights come on, and Randy Orton's behind them, and basically they brawl a little bit more. Randy hits him with a chair across the back, I believe. Then the Bollywood Boys show up with Jinder Mahal, attack Randy Orton for some reason. Jinder still has the WWE the WWE Championship. He hits, I believe he hits Randy Orton with it. Kind of a confusing situation, and then the Bollywood Boys jump in. Randy Orton's able to fight them all off. In the end, Bray Wyatt is able to do a Sister Abigail, and he gets the win. And it would be great if it was for the championship, but it wasn't, so it's kind of just, okay, great, he won. But what did he win, and what did any of this matter? there was no stakes to this whatsoever. It's like, yeah, it's a championship rematch, but the title isn't on the line. What the hell is that supposed to be all about? Anyway, whatever. Bray, I guess, gets his win back, if not his title. So, we're off to see Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal with, I assume, the Bollywood boys in his corner or lurking somewhere at ringside at the next pay-per-view. And I don't know, I hope that this push that Jinder is getting works out for him. I know that they're partly doing it because they are now on TV in India, and they want basically a local to be featured prominently on the card, and Jinder fits the bill. He's ripped to shreds. Oh my god, the vascularity on that guy. Just ridiculous. I know there's a lot of speculation that he's on the juice. I have no idea. WWE has not been shy about suspending even top guys for wellness policy violations. So I take him at their word that Jinder is not juicing, or if he is, he's juicing on something that isn't popping on the urine tests. But whatever. Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton is coming up down the line, so hopefully that'll be good. Let's move on to the, I guess, main event. And that was Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. Oh, it wasn't a bad match for what it was. Roman Reigns comes out all bandaged up, shoulder, like heavily bandaged up, like ludicrously, ridiculously bandaged up. Like, people who have been in plane crashes are not as bandaged up as Roman Reigns was. Anyway, they basically brawl. It's a decent match. The crowd, alright, the older male demographic of the crowd was clearly in Braun Strowman's corner and cheering everything that he did. Braun Strowman ends up winning the match with 2 power slams after the first one doesn't finish off Roman Reigns because he kind of weakly lifts his shoulder, so he picks him up again. After a whole match of brawling back and forth, a lot of time outside the ring, picks him up again for a power slam. I don't know if he has a name for that particular power slam. It's just a regular power slam, but I'm sure he'll have some sort of name for it as a finishing hold. And Braun Strowman defeats Roman Reigns, who was already injured coming into the match, so Roman Reigns is protected and kept high on the card because, what would this match have looked like if Roman wasn't injured and heavily bandaged up, and if his ribs weren't all broken coming into this match. Right, I'm supposed to believe all this when Seth Rollins barely made it into WrestleMania because of his tweaked MCL. Yet here, basically destroyed Roman Reigns is allowed to have a match against Braun Strowman. WWE, some logic, please. Just please, some logic. And if you didn't already know, Roman Reigns was bandaged up because of an attack from a couple of weeks ago by Braun Strowman, where he injures Roman Reigns in a backstage situation. Roman Reigns is put in in an ambulance, which Braun Strowman then tips over by himself and flips. Then, a 15,000-pound ambulance flipped like it was, nothing. But, believe me, he didn't do that without assistance. There was a jack or something that was helping him flip that ambulance. Anyway, Braun Strowman wins the match, but that's not the end of it. He goes and gets the stairs, picks up Roman Reigns, puts him on his shoulders, and then drops him on the side of the stairs, denting them. That's important to note, because I'm going to get back to the stairs in a second. There's something funky about these particular steps. And this is inside the ring. He brought the steps into the ring, drops Roman Reigns onto the side of the steps, which bends the metal. At which point, he just kind of poses for a moment, and then he picks up the steps. And we've all seen someone get hit with the part of the steps that's angled in, has the angle for the ring apron, so it matches up to the ring apron perfectly. Well, this time, he hits Roman Reigns with the other side, with the small, flat side of the steps, right on the chest. Roman instantly spits up blood. Fake blood, obviously. Nobody juiced and no real blood was used because WWE has a no bleeding policy. So guaranteed it was a blood capsule. It definitely didn't even look like real blood. Braun Strowman finally leaves. Agents show up trying to get Strowman to leave. He pushes them. He goes into the back. Announcers really put over, oh my god, what a monster he is. He just crossed the line. Even Corey Graves, who's the heel announcer, was like, no, you don't do that. They're really trying to sell that Braun Strowman is unhinged and what Kurt Angle's going to do about it. Roman Reigns is helped to the back. He's still coughing up blood. At one point, he stops in front of a white cinder block wall just so he can spit up more blood onto this pristine white cinder block wall in case we didn't get the point that, hey, he's bleeding. And that was kind of funny. Oh yeah, he did refuse the stretcher. The EMTs initially tried to get him on the stretcher. No, he's gonna walk out. This way he can be more dramatic when he spits up more cough syrup or ketchup. No, it wasn't ketchup. It was like fake blood capsules, whatever it was. Anyway, they finally get him to the back of the ambulance. He's kind of leaning up against the open door of the back of the ambulance. And lo and behold, here comes Strowman, and Roman Reigns gets right out of the way as Strowman runs and hits the open door of the ambulance, breaking it off its hinges. News alert, it was not on its hinges because it just came right off and flew to the side. And he runs through the door and into some conveniently stacked empty cardboard boxes to kind of slow his collision so he won't get injured. Ends up with Roman somehow being able to hit Strowman in the shoulder a couple of times with the actual hinged door of the ambulance. And then they go to Talking Raw, or whatever the name of the show is, where it's, oh my god, can you believe what happened? These two guys really want to kill each other. I've never seen two men more eager to destroy each other. And that's basically where Payback goes off the air. And I gotta say, when Braun Strowman ran through that door and into those boxes, I just busted out laughing. It was like the funniest thing I'd seen in a while. And that door just goes flying off. If it was actually on the hinges, not just kind of sitting there, yeah, it would have bent the hinges, or it would have bent, but it wouldn't have fallen off. Those hinges are designed to hold that door on no matter what. So he might have bent the door the other direction, but the other direction from the way it opens, but it definitely wouldn't have come off the hinges. So yeah. As far as rating the pay-per-view, it was okay. I guess I'd give it a C, maybe a C+. The stuff with Braun and Roman Reigns and the ambulance was just, and the fake blood was just too ridiculous. And that deducts points. Maybe a C+ is too strong of a grade. I don't know. The House of Horrors part of the Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton match was also just so ridiculous, with every cheaply made funhouse horror cliche you can think of. Hanging deformed dolls, lights changing, colors of the house. The house is illuminated like you could probably see it from space, as many colored lights that were on it. It was initially glowing this weird blue color, Then after Bray Wyatt escapes the house and Randy Orton's still inside, it changes into a red color. When Bray Wyatt does his I can change the color of the lights magic ability. It was that it also loses points for that. It was, I get what they were going for, but it was just executed so badly. No, it was just bad. I didn't like it at all. But the whole pay-per-view had no stakes. Nothing was at stake. Nothing felt big. Nothing felt at stake. It was just okay. It's a very forgettable pay-per-view. I'm sure Bayley will get the championship back pretty soon. The matches of the night were definitely the Cruiserweight Championship, which was Neville and Austin Aries, with I guess the Raw Women's Championship being in second place as second match of the night. Everything else was either forgettable or, I mean, I guess the Tag Team Championship match was memorable for Jeff Hardy losing a tooth, but whatever. I don't know. It was okay. I'll forget it by tomorrow, so I had to make this video now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of WWE Payback 2017. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you find the gimmicks kind of ridiculous, or did you really enjoy them? My word is just my opinion. I am no authority on pro wrestling. You should like what you like, dislike what you dislike. And this was okay for the most part, except for the previously mentioned gimmicks that just went nowhere. It was whatever. But anyway, guys, once again, thank you for watching. To my subscribers, I love you guys. If you're new to this channel, just stumbled across this video, or just stumbled across me, won't you click that candy-like subscribe button and give me a chance to win you over? We like to have fun here, and you'll be helping to grow a fantastic community. You'll have my absolute, complete gratitude. That's the only word that comes to mind. My complete gratitude. But most importantly, from your perspective, you'll always be notified whenever a new video goes up on the channel. This is Rob, for Games New to Me, saying WWE Payback wasn't good, wasn't bad. It was okay with a few moments here and there. Anyway, guys, until next time, be good to each other, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.